Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Let's continue our journey into the ancient Egyptian civilization. So, now we're going to be talking about the 19th and the 20th dynasties. Um, the 19th and the 20th dynasties together are referred to as the Ramesside period, and this is because most of the pharaohs, most of the kings in this period had their names starting as Ramesses and then oops. All right. So they all had their names starting as Ramesses and they just had different numbers. And I think there's about 11 pharaohs whose names start as Ramesses. So a series of kings, mostly named Ramesses, rule. Imperialism continues. Religious power shifts from Thebes back to Memphis. So now Memphis becomes a capital again. Seti I, who is son of Ramesses I, and Queen Sitter, is the second pharaoh. Okay, so first let's talk about Ramesses I. Now he had non-royal origins. He's from the Eastern Delta, Semitic descent, and military background. So he's not from the royal family. He's not a descendant of Horemheb, so to speak. He did not attempt to marry into royalty. Pretty self-dignified man, and he's the founder of a new dynastic line. And we know we are talking about that right now. So here's a picture of him. And the second, this should actually say second. Ramesses II is the second pharaoh of the 19th dynasty, and he is also referred to as Ramesses the Great. Now, you should remember that Ramesses II is a big name in the 19th dynasty, one of the most important pharaohs of the 19th dynasty. He's the third pharaoh of the 19th dynasty. So we started off from Ramesses I. Actually, it doesn't make sense for him to be the third pharaoh. Oh, right. So I'll see. This is what happens. So first you have Ramesses I. Then Ramesses I is succeeded by Seti I or Seti I, and then Seti I is succeeded by Ramesses II. So we talked about Ramesses I already. Seti II is right here. So let's talk about Seti II first, and then we'll go to Ramesses II. Just notes are not a bit organized. So policy of restoration of national affairs and to rewrite history to legitimize his dynasty. So obviously, he's the son of a pharaoh who did not belong to the dynasty, who did not belong to a royal family. So he had a policy of restoring everything, national affairs, and etc. etc. Now, Abydos is notable for the memorial temple of Seti I, which contains an inscription from the 19th dynasty known to the modern world as Abydos King List. So, Abydos King List is an important feature here. Where's my highlighter? Here. Abydos King List. It is a chronological list showing cartouches of most dynastic pharaohs of most Egypt, from Menes until Ramesses I, Seti's father. The Great Temple and most of the ancient town are buried under the modern buildings to the north of Seti Temple. Many of the original structures and artifacts within them are considered irretrievable and lost. Many have been destroyed by the new construction. Abydos' king list of 67 kings from Narmer to himself, leaving out Amarna kings Akhenaten and Tutankhamun and Hatshepsut. So it's a list. We don't have to get into the details of what kind of list it is, but it's a list of kings, and Seti I leaves out Amarna kings, that is Akhenaten, Tutankhamun, and Hatshepsut. So that's the important thing about Abydos, and it has Seti I's temple there. Alright, now let's talk about Ramesses II. So he's one of the best known pharaohs, and I'll go back to this note here. Often regarded as Egypt's most celebrated, most powerful pharaoh, called the Great Ancestor. I'll just write those down here. So he's called the Great Ancestor. One of the best known pharaohs, 67-year reign, most prolific builder on a grand scale, and he's often referred to as the Great Ramesses. And he is obviously, and what was the name given to him over there? The Great Ancestor. The Great, it should actually be uppercase. The Great Ancestor. So he is